Welcome back to Are You Ready for Stats? We're going to continue our discussion of mapping using ggplot. So a couple reminders before you can start to use ggplot, you need to load in your libraries, and ggplot is from the Tidyverse library. And then you need to load in your shapefile, which is the library's maps. That contains all of the coordinate information that is necessary for making the maps. So it contains the latitude and longitudes for countries, counties, cities, like all those boundary lines is contained in that library. Now, we actually will, in future videos, be creating a map for the state of Michigan, and we'll be adding in the library map proj. And that one works as like a partner to Maps. So Maps has the shapefile, and map proj helps with the projection of the map. So you can adjust the way that things look more with that library map proj. So those are the three libraries that you'll need when you're going to be mapping using ggplot. Also remember that ggplot is a coordinate system that helps you to create graphs and then just add layers to keep making it more and more to make it look more and more like you would like it to. So this we did in the last video. It's just the United States. It's got our X as longitude, our Y as latitude. It's filling just by the color blue, and then it outlined in white, which you can't see very well, but that's there. Now, we added in the labels for the U.S. Mint and Federal Reserve, and we did that using the exact same variable names. That's important, so long and lat. And we layered that on top of the graph that we created for the U.S. That was filled entirely in blue. Now, the next concept that I want to teach you about is in these maps, you are able to actually map a variable. So you can map a continuous variable, a discrete variable, or even a categorical variable, and have the map show up with that variable on the map. So right now, I actually am going to create a map that shows you the different states. So you'll notice that I here am creating a new shape file that says map data state. So I'm telling in that function R that I want it to go down to the state level. So those boundary lines, I'm creating an object called state, and then I'm going to plot that on the geom polygon. Remember, that's how we're making the maps. My X is always longitude, my Y is latitude. This time though, I'm filling by the region. So the region is actually what in that states data, well, let's create that states data. Down here, you can see the region is the state. So it calls it region, but you can recognize that as being the state. So it's going to fill by state, meaning that it'll have a different color for each state that's included on the continental US. So here is my map. You can see every state has a different color. You also see that it has a legend, which is redundant and unnecessary. And so to get rid of that, you see the code that I had below. It says guide fill equals false, which means I don't need the guide of what the fill is. False, don't include that. So now you can see all of the different states. The reason they have the outline of white is because of this set of code. Remember, you always do group equals group. That tells R to keep the state, basically, since we're doing state level together, like that group stays together. So that's code that you don't change. What we will be changing in future videos is having different variables associated with this fill. So this is kind of a silly one because it's just giving you a different color for each state. But in future videos, we'll be working with census data, and we'll be filling by population change. So you can use that fill variable for different options and different variables, and we'll look at that in future videos. So if this video helped, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in future videos.